Alright, so yesterday I did a video with a whole bunch of stoves, and none of them had windscreens, and hardly any of them boiled outside. So I thought, man, I need some more windscreens. So I thought I'd make my own, and just using aluminum foil doesn't seem to work for me. It's too flimsy. Wind hits it, it's going to blow over. The whole purpose of a windscreen is to make them protect from the wind. So I had some tins outside, and in the basement. And they were like pie tins, but they're larger. I'll show you what they look like. And I decided to make this one. This is a windscreen inspired by Jason Class with a belt buckle design. I'll show you the process of how I made it. Okay, so I thought I had two full ones, but I only had one full one, so I can't show you the whole thing back together again. But I can kind of show you what it was. It was basically a large turkey basting tray that I cut down and got two pieces of aluminum out of, large pieces of aluminum. This is the second piece that I started working on. And what I did was, you can see that in the aluminum here, there's all these ridges. There was a lot of the same ridges in the bottom of this tin here. You can kind of see right here and right here how they're going out. And it's just to keep your turkey off the bottom of the pan. So what I did was I cut out two pieces of the aluminum out of the pan, leaving the side frames. I haven't found a use for those yet. And I'm using a pasta maker, and what I do is I run the stuff through the pasta maker a few times to get all the ridges out. Now I started out at I think 3 on the scale over here and got it down to 1, and that still didn't get it flat enough. So what I did after that was I took some paper, and paper is some very strong material, believe it or not. Once it's flat, it's flat. There's no compressing paper hardly. So then I ran that through, and I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand, so let me see if I can set the camera down here to show you. So with the paper then running through, I was able to get the most of the ridges out. And this now, set at 1. And let me switch where the foil is going, because it tends to roll right back into itself if you don't watch it at this point. So it's going backwards here. And I don't have any 11 by 17 paper, so I get it halfway through, and I have to hit it the other way after I get it halfway through. And just to make things nicer, I run it one direction and back the other. And by doing so, I've gotten most of those ridges out. Not the design ridges. The design ridges stay, but the actual ridges from the turkey pan, the ridges that you see on the side there and where in the bottom, pretty much disappear once you run it through with the paper. This side's a little smoother than this side. I haven't gotten this side through the paper yet. So after I did that, ran it through there with the paper, then I built a little, folded up a piece of the foil. That's where the back side of the tray, so don't throw these away, because that back side that's missing from this tray was used to make this little belt buckle here. And with that folded over, I think it was 4 times, all to the inside, so that I had no sharp edges on the outside. Then when I was done with that, I took the piece here and I ran it on my little drill with a sander on there along all the edges, because when I cut this, I used a razor and a ruler and a straight edge to cut it, and it left a lot of little sharp edges on the foil, and foil sharp edges can really poke you in the finger dangerously if you find one here. I don't know what they call this, but I'm going to show you real close if I can get a close-up. I don't think it's going to do a close-up. I really need something behind it, though, to show you. Anyways, those little points right there hurt like heck when they catch you. So after you cut it with a razor, you do need to sand it down to make it nice and smooth. And now I have a little flowery designed windscreen for my stove. Now the real test would be to see how it holds up under heat. Obviously it will hold up under heat because it's for baking, but will it hold up with fire? So I'm going to test it with the flame and see just how much it will handle the heat before I make any more. So this one's ready to go. We'll put it to the test and see what kind of flame protection it does. Obviously it'll do wind protection, but will it also resist burning in the flame? We'll see. Okay, we're going to do a flame test on this windscreen. Obviously we're not outside. I'm not really going to test it for wind protection yet. Obviously I think it will protect from the wind. I may have to drill some holes in the back because it may smother it without any wind. That's why I think I'm going to do my first test inside. I'm not doing a time test. I'm not doing anything else except a flame protection test. So let's go ahead. I got this thing filled up to the very tip top. I got the primer filled to the very tip top. This thing flames a lot when it's actually full all the way. It's actually not meant to be filled all the way because I think the fuel will actually cause it to make a lot of flame. And that's what JP the man was saying when he showed this, is that you can't fill it all the way because it makes too much flame. Well, guess what? That's what I want for this test. So I'm going to close this thing up real tight around here and just let the flames shoot off. That may be too tight. Let me take it. I can't even get it down because it's too tight. Let me open up just a little bit more there. Just enough to where it's actually hitting the flames to do the test. I do want the flames to be hitting it, but I also don't want it to smother it completely. That should be a good test right there. Now, I want to have it down here so I can put it on once I light it. That's pretty close in there. There's still some airflow. We'll see. May not be enough airflow. I'm going to actually take the camera off so you can see down in there without trying to. And this is just a windscreen test. You can see we're flaming in there. Not big flames, but some. So obviously it's going to need a little more. You can see it's barely staying lit down there, and there's a lot of fuel in there. So the hole's probably going to be a necessity to keep this from putting the actual fire out. So test 1 says yes, we're going to need the holes. Staying lit. So I'll get another shot once it's in full flame. Okay, we got some flames. I actually raised it up just a hair because it was smothering it, so I raised it up a hair on the bottom to let some air in. Obviously that's not a lot of air, but it's some air. And I'm getting a lot of flame off it now. Actually, if I stand in front of you, you can see the flame better. But there's a lot of flame hitting that now. So let's see if it actually deforms or if it does okay. Can't tell if it's deforming yet, but I do see some yellow coming off of it. So that means something's burning the edges. This is too much flame to be boiling a pot of water with, obviously, but not too much flame to test my newest windscreen. Because I want to take it to the extreme and see just what's going to happen to it before I make any more of them. Is it worth my trouble, or is it actually going to work? And I guess the real test will be to see what it looks like when it's all said and done. That's a cool picture right there. There it goes. All out of fuel. Just as flexible as it was. No damage. So I'd say it's a go. No damage at all. Alright. So, windscreen making, definitely a capability. Possibility, I mean. Out of the standard turkey facing. And it looks like, from what I can see so far, it looks like I'm going to get 2 windscreens out of 1 turkey baster. I don't know what these things cost. I imagine around Thanksgiving they're pretty cheap. So, windscreen out of a turkey baster. That's all.